What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing, back with a gym. I wanted to come on and react to a video I seen on Fight Hub TV where Eddie Hearn was supposedly responding to Gervonta Tank Davis turning down a $20 million fight offer guarantee in order to fight Devin Haney. And I said from the beginning that was a lie. It's obvious it's a lie, and not even a smart lie. Because a smart lie, if you wanted people to believe that he was turning down an inordinate amount of money as if he was scared to fight Devin Haney, you would have wanted to make that offer, or fake phantom offer, higher than $20 million. Because one thing we know, according to Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia made $30 million as the B-side to fight Tank Davis in his last fight, or his fight before last. He's fought since then. And we know Bill and Devin believed that, because they actually came out and said, we want the same deal that Ryan got. So you know the money is real on Tank's side. You know what upper echelon fighters fighting him are getting, which means you know he made a whole lot more than $20 million in his last fight. But okay, let's go along with the narrative that he was offered $20 million. The only person that would be able to offer him $20 million would be Eddie Hearn, which is who Devin Haney is signed to. So when when Eddie Hearn was asked, point blank, what do you say about Tank Davis turning down $20 million? He comes out and admits that he's never even talked to Tank. None of them have talked to Tank. He said, we DM Tank, and he's talking about DMs, not even, this is $1 million business, and you telling me that the lines of communication to make this stuff happen is DMs. You can't make this shit up. But he said he DM'd Tank, and then, Tank said he didn't want to talk to him. So if he didn't want to talk to you, you never even got to make him an offer. And then he says, of course, conveniently, that he would never show the text messages. You don't relay private information that is exchanged between two people. That's very convenient to say, because you probably don't have the receipts to do so. And at the end of the day, we all know that Gervonta Davis is signed to Al Heyman, and that's his quote unquote advisor, or for lack of a better word, manager. So in order to make a fight with him, you would want to reach out to Al. It seems like Bill Haney's making a habit of, he's been made a habit of spreading false narratives on social media. But he's going as far as, he doesn't think any of the social media followers out here have any type of boxing intellect or intelligence, because he's actually coming out and telling you that he's not speaking to the proper people to get these things done. He came out and gave you a name for Subriel Matias's manager that was not Subriel Matias's manager. And Subriel Matias' team answered and said, listen, we've never made a demand for $4 million. We've never even talked to Bill, and the guy he's talking about has nothing to do with our team. Now, supposedly, he tried to make a $20 million guarantee to Tank. And this was like less than 24 hours after he supposedly had made a deal, an offer to Subriel Matias. So within 48 hours of Devin Haney's last fight, he had already contacted and had failed negotiations with two mega fights that could potentially be made, of course Tank Davis being the bigger one, and both got declined. Only, in his own factual statements or non-factual statements, he never even contacted the necessary personnel to even consider a fight like that. This dude is Captain Cap, Sir Cap-a-lot, and it drives me crazy that so many people that go so hard for Devin Haney, which I don't have a problem with that. They should. If you're a fan of him, you should go hard for him. But to try to justify this craziness that this dude spews all the time that's obviously false is mind-boggling to me. Tank, your last fight, and again, how could you even offer somebody $20 million when your last event generated reportedly $5 million gross? you don't produce the kind of money to offer Tank Davis $20 million. Even though that would be a pay cut, we know, because of the Tank's last fight, to what he's seeing. So you're not even in a position to offer him $20 million. Then you're talking about, Eddie's talking about different countries want to fight. That's all stuff that Tank is going to decide, as the A side. And I mean, they admit that they're the B side, but then they say, well, if Devin himself said if Tank really wanted to fight, he would build it up instead of tearing it down and saying what I'm not. But ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Because Devin Haney and Bill Haney have been shooting at Tank Davis for years. For years, trying to tear this man's accomplishments down, trying to actually call him and Ryan Garcia's fight an exhibition. I'm going to tell you like this. I'd rather fight an exhibition that grosses $100 million than fight in the biggest fight to them in the world that grosses $5 million. That's just, at the end of the day, you can call the fight whatever you want. The money you guys are dealing with is peanuts compared to what he's dealing with. So it doesn't even make sense for you guys to be talking how you're talking. And again, to say he's tearing you guys down and it doesn't make sense if he wants to fight, he should be building you up. You guys should have thought of that before you came out with all this disrespectful rhetoric you've been spewing for the last few years, knowing that you need this man and he's a bigger star than you. Unless, of course, you still just pump faking, clout chasing, and still want to use this man's name, knowing you have no real intention of fighting this man. And like I said, I believe from the beginning you don't want to fight him because you don't want to fight a guy, like I said, when he's the clear A side, and you want to dictate terms to him. You want to say the weight. You want to say there ain't no rehydration clause. You want to say there ain't no catch weight. You can't tell the cash cow, hey, I need an opportunity to fight you, but you need to do everything I want and then we can fight. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need you. Valenzuela just had a big win over Chris Colbert. I'm not saying that's as big of a name fight, but I think that fight would do really well if he just decided to have a WBA world title fight against Valenzuela without you. And I guarantee you it won't do no $5 million in gross profits. I guarantee you that. So y'all really need to humble yourselves. And like I said, you're really desperate when you start talking about how, the fighters should be sticking together and he shouldn't tear you down. You guys have made a career out of saying this man's name and tearing him down. Then I heard Bill say, Tank won't say our name. Tank won't say our name. All they're doing is throwing back everything that was said to them. They said, oh, now that we're free, he won't say our name. Well, we've all proven over the last few fights that was something that Devin Haney was guilty of, saying Tank's name when he was under contractual obligation to others. Now they just want to throw that back at Tank. Tank has maintained the entire time he don't like saying any of those guys' names unless they're actually fighting. Why? He understands the position he's in. He doesn't want to help any of these guys gain any type of notoriety or fame based off him saying their name if he's not going to fight them. I can't blame him for that. If I'm not making money off of you, I don't want you making money off of me. So, I mean, they're desperate and they really want this man to say their name, even though I think they don't want to fight. And again, they're not the same weight. I maintain that. If Devin Haney's coming into fights 165 pounds, he's not Tank Davis's weight. And why would Tank put himself in a position where he allow a guy to outweigh him 25, 30 pounds? At what point did boxing become, in order to be a reputable fighter, you got to allow guys to weigh whatever they want when they fight you. They have to outweigh you by 2-3 weight classes in order for you to be recognized as a warrior. Kiss my ass. Miss me with that. They have weight limits and weigh-ins for a reason. And obviously, the Haneys have found a way to manipulate the system and fight smaller guys. And guys that are in need of an opportunity, or Devin may present them with their biggest payday opportunity, they have to fall for that BS. Unfortunately for the Haneys, Tank doesn't. He's making his money without you. So he doesn't have to allow you to come in at an advantage 20 to 30 pounds heavier than him. He doesn't have to give you the negotiating he doesn't have to negotiate in your terms. He doesn't have to allow you to dictate anything to him. Why? Because he's seeing more money than you without you. And he's probably going to see similar to the same money no matter who he fights. So you the one that need to come to grips with the fact that you need to do things the way he wants them done, or the fight ain't going to happen. which again, in my opinion, I don't think you guys want the fight, because you know damn well you can't dictate nothing to him. You know damn well your guarantee for Regis was, what was it, $1.5 million or a little over $1 million. Tank ain't seeing no guarantee like that. And you talk all this big money stuff. Like, cut it out. Cut it out. Y'all don't want that fight. Bill, stop lying. There is no $20 million offer. And if there was, it's still short money for Tank, because we know he paid his last opponent $30 million. So if he paid his opponent $30 million, who was the B-side, what do you think he walked with? Something to think about, right? So if y'all really want the fight, y'all know who to contact. His advisor is Al Heyman. Call Al and ask Al. Ask him, what do we need to do to get this fight? Because you don't dictate anything. You're not in a position to dictate anything. Your homecoming fight with Regis Prograis just showed y'all not even on the same. Y'all not in the same ballpark when it comes to finances. And then Eddie Hearn said something else that made it sound real bad. He said, well, they're saying we sold out only because we had $60 tickets. Who cares? Everybody should, because if you're talking business, I generate this, you generate that. That's how we negotiate. If my cheap tickets cost $500 and your cheap tickets cost $60, that is again another instance of me flexing and showing you I'm big dog and you little guy. And of course, y'all don't want that to matter because you on the wrong end of it. But rest assured, if you guys give an opportunity to somebody who's fighting in ballrooms and you just sold out a stadium, you're gonna force them to take short money, and you're gonna use the statistics from their former fights in order to negotiate a better salary for yourself, like you tried to do with Shakur. When it came to Shakur, he was the B-side. He needed to just take what you gave him because you was gonna make more than he made in his career, even though that was capped. That was a lie. Where's that logic with Tank Davis? I mean, how does he even assess your value if he doesn't look at your ticket sales? He doesn't look at how much your event grossed. That's how you come up with your value, isn't it? So y'all gotta stop painting these false narratives, because the boxing fan really isn't that unintelligent, isn't that uninformed, isn't that ignorant. And they see through your BS. You don't want the fight. And the only way you're willing to take the fight is if you're gonna get much more than what you deserve. And it's not gonna happen. You can say what you want about Al Heyman, but one thing's for sure, two things for certain. He's a hell of a businessman. He's made the biggest fights and biggest business deals in the business of boxing, and he's not going to allow you to get the better of his fighter on that side. So I don't see an avenue for you to win the fight or negotiation. And like I said, if you want the fight, you're going to have to eat some humble pie and do things the way Al and Tank want them done. Or just move on with your career, stop clout chasing, and leave that man's name alone. But y'all been saying this man's name crazily over and over, only to go right behind it and say, hey, but we're not going to come to your weight. Hey, we're not going to fight for cheap money. Hey, we're not going to do this. We're not going to, saying what you're not going to do. That's like going to a job interview and saying, hey, I really, really need this job. But let's get three things out of the way right now. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing... They're going to look at you like you're crazy and tell you have a nice day, go ahead and walk out the door. And that's probably more or less what Tank is going to do for you. So some people, like my man Knockout, he's been, pretty harsh on Tank as well, which I ain't mad at, but saying like he don't want to hear Tank negotiating with anybody else, just Devin. I'm at a point, yes, I do want to see the fight. They say, when you stick up for one side, you don't want I want the fight. But I don't think that Tank, being big dog, should have to compromise himself in order to make the fight. So if Devin Haney and Bill Haney are unrealistic in their expectations or in their business practices, I have no problem with Tank moving on and fighting Sabril Matias or Venezuela or whoever else makes sense right now. Because to me, it's not Devin Haney or bust with me. It's not. Because again, Tank is who Tank is because of what Tank's done in the ring and because of the fantastic job that Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman, Leonard Ellaby have done with him outside the ring. Of course, along with Coach Kenny and Coach Calvin and, his team out of the Upton Boxing Club in Baltimore, Maryland. That's what made Tank who Tank is. It wasn't Devin Haney. So he's already the face of boxing without you. I don't see him taking a step backwards without fighting you. It's you that's trying to ascend to his level. It's not him who's trying to descend to your level. So get right or get left. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? You can either get right or get left. But at the end of the day, I'm still a fan of boxing. I'll still watch Devin Haney fight. I'm most certainly going to still watch Gervonta Tank Davis fight, because he's probably one of the most exciting fighters in the game. Arguably maybe one of the most talented fighters in the game. You ain't stopping nothing, Bill Haney, Devin Haney. You guys not fighting Tank is not stopping anything. That's the fight you need to ascend. He's already there. He don't need you. That's all I got for y'all now. Before y'all get out of here, jab the like button, hook the share button, uppercut that subscribe button. Until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, your ass off the floor. Peace.